Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome to the Sunday recap, my weekly vlog where I talk about my last week in gaming. So first of all, in EVE Online, I admit I played a bit less than average in EVE Online last week. So I've mostly been doing like a little bit of mining, just managing my PI, but time-wise it's not been a great week for me in EVE Online. I still did try to keep up with the blueprint copy market, and unfortunately that one is being drowned in supply from competitors, so that is just not going well anymore. The contracts aren't selling, I'm getting a lot of them that are lapsing their 2 weeks, and so I definitely need to slow the production down there. The only things basically that still sell well are the Strauss blueprint copy itself. You can still get that to be bought decently quickly in like a few days, and a few individual choice components. Those still sell, but at a discounted price of under 10 million or something like that. So the bad news about that is, of course, that I'm making less money. I'm going to switch out my research jobs from making more copies to other stuff. But the good news is that in general, this seems to indicate that the citadels are becoming more and more affordable. The entire market is starting to settle down, and the economy is basically absorbing this huge new part of production, trade, and all of that good stuff into the game. So if you were thinking of getting your own citadel, but you've always hesitated because of the cost at the time, then this could be the right time to start looking at a couple of cheap blueprint copies, some cheaper resources, and get that ball rolling, even if it's maybe for a large. Honestly, at this point, it's because of the UI Federation's large that I'm not making my own. But if there was not a large citadel in detail, I think at this point I would start working on my own. Because I feel like, sure, it's still a bit risky, right? The vulnerability window is quite a bit longer and all of that, but there are now so many large citadels already around the game itself, especially around the trade hubs, to take advantage of the difference in taxes that you can get set up there, that a large citadel is not a huge risk anymore. It is actually something that even, I think, a smaller corporation could risk to put up. So yeah, if you've wanted a citadel but you've always been worried about the cost, then I would say start looking into the blueprint copies contract, start looking into the resources. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. A game that I did spend a lot of time in is Fallout 4. For some reason, I really did feel like working pretty hard on my next character. This one is focusing on the Minutemen, and I think I've unlocked almost all of the settlements. So I'm making like small bunkers around those settlements with the concrete. And then what I find pretty damn fun is to give all of the connections between the settlements like a minigun, some pretty cool robot armor. And lately I've also been adding some of the really big robots that you can make with the DLC, and sending them out to be the connection points between the settlements. And so that's been going really well. I think I'm close to level 50. At that point, I think there are still some quests from just the main storyline that I need to do. So at that point, I think I'll go after Kellogg. Then I think I'll grab the fort for the Minutemen, which I still haven't done, but I need a lot of resources to be able to put up the defenses and everything there the way I want. Yeah, just get to level 50, I think, next. Get the rest of like robotics, armoring, gun nut, get all of that to the max level so that I can make the best weapons for my settlers as well and for myself. And then I think I'll slowly be able to be ready for the DLC of Fall Harbor and check that out for the first time. So it's definitely still a lot of fun. This is another character where I think I've got an easy 50 hours into by now, and just shows how good a game I think Fallout 4 is. Because somehow it is still fun and entertaining to go in one of those dungeons, clear it out, grab all of the resources, and then start building up another settlement. So it's been good fun. Definitely spent a lot of time playing Fallout 4. Another game that I've played is Overwatch, a decent amount, I would say, pretty normal, couple of games every day. It is still very fun, but I think with competitive mode, we'll have to see how that changes the game. So in quick play, which at the moment I think is basically what most people are playing, you get into a game in a matter of seconds. You have a couple of fun games. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't go well, depending on the team you're jumped into. But it's definitely still something that you can enjoy in a very casual way. I know that there is going to be a competitive play with rewards, and so again an incentive to start playing every day, to start trying to earn points, start trying to work on your ranking to get better, and we'll see if that changes my habit, if that can convince me to play more Overwatch, or on the other hand, if that has an impact on the enjoyment of quick play itself, and if I can keep playing Overwatch the way I'm playing now. So it's still in a very casual fashion, but honestly, it's such a fun game to just jump in, have a couple of action-filled games for like half an hour or something like that, and then go back to doing something else. It's a perfect game for that, and we will see if the addition of ranked gameplay is going to change anything in the game there for me. But yeah, Overwatch, of course, a Blizzard game, extremely polished and very fun to play at the moment. Something else, I played Starcraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Basically, I played through the story. I tried recording some of them, but here I have to be honest, I was a bit disappointed by the experience. So I'm not sure exactly what it is. I did feel like at the end the story fell a little bit flat. It became a little bit silly in my opinion. But I think it's mostly the type of missions that you had to work with. So after the base game and then the first expansion, Heart of the Swarm, I think there's too much repetition and there are too many missions that are actually timed somehow. So the things that I noticed is that again you had a lot of missions with just a couple of the story characters, like with Kerrigan again, or with some of the Protoss characters, and you've already done that several times in the previous expansions, and now you actually have several more of those missions that you have to do like that. So felt a little bit redundant. How many times can you hold a last stand, either defending the relic or again defending against the endless tide of the Zerg? Now you get to do that 2 or 3 times. That's just too much. You've done that several times already. One of those missions would have been more than enough. Honestly, if I'm completely honest, there is only one mission that stands out to me that felt like it was actually fun, a little bit new, a little bit different, and that was the mission where you push alongside the Terrans to try and grab the relic, which is actually pretty damn early on. But there you actually have like 2 paths towards the relic, and you being the center base of the Protoss have to actually help your human allies to try and get the relic. Why do I think this is fun? Because there are ways that you can help them. You can either, because the relic is constantly used to disable all Terrans on the map for a little while, you can either choose to go more of a defensive route and slowly turtle up with your allies, but then of course the counter pushes become harder and harder, so you need to have a more and more specialized army. Or you can say, screw my allies, and whenever all the Terrans are disabled, you can really try to go on the offensive over the entire line of the battlefield. And so that one mission has enough variety. That's a mission that I've also played 3 times because I enjoy it so much, but it's really the only one to me in Legacy of the Void that stands out as something that was a little bit new, something that you could replay, and something that was actually fun to do. There were way too many missions with a time limit, so I just felt like, all right, I just need to figure out the counter to whatever is on the map and then rush the objective. Not very fun to me at all. And then some of the larger missions where you can really build up, you've already done that so often, like a last stand, where you just have to again actually wait for a timer to complete, and then you have to do that 3 times I think throughout the game, which is again a pretty large portion of the entire game. And the other actually every other mission that I still do remember then has some sort of timer mechanic that basically forces you to rush for the objectives with the right army composition, or with the army composition of your choice. if you're playing on normal. So Legacy of the Void, in my opinion, the weakest of the Starcraft expansions or parts so far here, and I just played through the game. I definitely didn't record everything, and I'm actually a little bit like, you know what, I probably need another break from StarCraft 2 at this point, because it was definitely not the experience I thought I would have. And we'll see how I continue when it comes to the StarCraft 2 campaign, which I've already made like the first 2 parts of. And am I going to go back to Legacy of the Void, play through that on hard? Maybe something like that is a possibility. But I must be honest here, I really didn't enjoy Legacy of the Void's campaign all that much. And then for a final item that I want to touch on, it is of course that the Steam summer sales are active. So most of you guys are probably aware of that, but if you aren't, then of course you can get games at a really cheap discount during the summer sales, which can be pretty awesome. But from my perspective here, I'm not hunting for a lot of games. So I'm going to only check this pretty casually, probably like once a day, and see if there happens to be a game maybe on my watch list or my wish list on Steam that I want to pick up at like 75% off or something like that. There are sometimes really no-brain deals that do come up, but I also feel like my schedule is already pretty full. I'm playing a lot of games. I look forward to what comes next in EVE Online with Shadow of the Serpent, so I'm definitely going to spend some time in that. And then after the summer we know about the new developments that will come into the game as well. So I completely look forward to spending more time in EVE Online as all of that new stuff starts to come out. But yeah, the Steam summer sales, I think the way I check these out, or will check these out, is just go to Steam maybe once a day or something like that, quickly browse through this, and where I personally always think you get some of the best information is just straight to go towards the top sellers here. So you can see Grand Theft Auto, yeah, really good game, 40% off already. To my surprise, Doom, 40% off for $36. I did not expect Doom to be on sale this quickly, but this is a pretty enticing thing here to see Doom already at $36, because I know from Total Biscuit's video that the single player campaign is actually considered to be pretty damn good, action-packed, pretty nostalgic as well. And I've said that at a good discount, I'm probably going to pick up Doom and play through the single player campaign. Do I want to pull the trigger now at 40%, or maybe wait for the Steam winter sales and be able to pick it up at 60-70% off? That's the debate that I'm having now, but at least by checking at once a day, you are able to maybe find something great here. And especially I think in the top sellers, it always gives a good indication. For instance, The Witcher 3 and Fallout 4, awesome games from last year. If you haven't played these yet and you can now pick them up at 50% discount, definitely a pretty good thing. What I noticed here as well, Civilization 5 Complete Edition for €11.26. That is definitely, if you haven't played Civilization yet but you love strategy, then this is a complete no-brainer. I think that Civilization 5 is one of the strongest iterations of the Civilization series, one of the most complete as well. And then with the complete edition you get everything extra that came to the game, which I think the first expansion actually made the game great. And you get all of that for $11, 90% discount here on the complete package price, compared to if you buy everything individually, of course, 67% off I think from the packaged price itself. But this is a great deal, and you do find some pretty awesome deals here. Rocket League for 12, that's still around, considered a very fun game. I've never played it myself, but it's also one that I do keep an eye out for a really good sale or something like that. So the Steam summer sales, as I've said, I'm not looking to spend a lot of money. I'm not looking to pick up a huge amount of games, but I do check this like around every day, especially the top sellers, to see if there's not a really great deal that I should pick up. And if I look at the current state, then whoops, here we go. Doom is definitely one thing that could be worth it. 30% off on such a new title, where actually the single player campaign did get some pretty damn good reviews, may absolutely be worth it. But yeah, that's it for this Sunday recap, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all next time.